Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the CCB AM Inside the NHL show with your hosts,
Casey,
Taylor,
and Jake.
Today we have a very special guest, Joe Sacco, a retired American National Hockey League player and currently the assistant coach for the Boston Bruins. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to talk with us, Joe. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
So Joe, how did you first get interested in hockey?
Well, I first got interested in hockey as a young boy, obviously, growing up in the Boston area. It was, at the time I was growing up, the Bruins were a popular team, and they had a couple of legendary players, one by the name of Bobby Orr and another one by Phil Esposito. So I just think growing up in the area with my parents, especially my father, following hockey, he put us into the sport at a young age, around 5 or 6, and I think we just sort of gravitated to the sport, and that's how we really got into the game of hockey, how we actually started.
So are you currently playing hockey still, or?
Well, I'm not currently playing anymore. I'm coaching now, so I'm on the ice, but I don't play per se in any leagues or anything like that. I'm too old now. I'm 50 years old, so I don't play anymore. But obviously, being on the ice every day with the team, I'll still be able to get out there and skate around.
Awesome. So how did you start your career in the sports industry?
Well, in the sports industry, after I finished my professional playing career, which lasted about 13 years, I was about 34 or 35 years old, I guess, at the age of my retirement. I decided that towards the end of my career when I was playing, I thought that I wanted to stay involved in the game of hockey in some capacity. And what that was, I wasn't quite sure whether it was going to be coaching, whether it would be scouting, or maybe a position in management of some sort. Really just trying to figure it out actually towards the end of my career. And so that's I guess kind of how I kind of got into staying involved in the game and on the sports side of it. And coaching, actually, there was an opportunity that came up for me about a year after I had retired. There was an opportunity that came up for me in the coaching ranks, and that's kind of how it got started as far as me being involved and being a coach now for, about 14 years now.
Wow. So you just mentioned that you played hockey for a little bit. How was the transition from playing to coaching in the league?
Well, it was definitely a big transition. There's no question. I think as a player, what you're concerned about is yourself first and foremost. You're always trying to prepare the individual, yourself. You're trying to get yourself ready to play a long season of hockey. And most of it, obviously, you have teammates that you can rely on and you count on a daily basis. But you're really trying to motivate yourself and get yourself prepared individually. The biggest transition is when you jump into coaching is now that you're taking on the task of getting 20 players on your team ready. And obviously it's a different workload a coach as to a player. As a player, your summers are your time to get ready for the long season. You're training, you're making sure that you're in top shape. And then when you're a coach, now the coaching side of it is you're getting prepared for the upcoming season by not training, by essentially getting ready by watching video, by what sort of plan you have for the upcoming season, how you're going to coach your players, how you're going to coach your team, and then obviously during the season it's a lot of work. It's a different kind of work than being a player. During the season it's more mentally challenging, I guess I would say, as a coach than physically, because of all the time that we do put in the office as far as getting our team prepared to play. So it's a lot. It was a big transition, but the good thing is, having been a former player, obviously knowing the ins and outs of the game, it did make it a little bit smoother for me.
Yeah, I'm sure being a player has really smoothened that transition for you. But being a coach at this high of a level must be pretty difficult and time-consuming, like you did say. What are some of the challenges specifically that you've faced while being a coach?
Well, the challenges of obviously in the league that we're in the National Hockey League, the number one challenge is you're in the business of winning. So it's not a development league. It's not a league where it's okay to lose. So the pressure on us is to make sure that we have to try to win 82 games. That's how many we play in a season. Now, obviously, we're not going to win 82 games, but so the challenge is dealing with the pressure of winning night in and night out. And the pressure, you can take some of that pressure away by making sure, I just believe when you're prepared, the pressure is a lot less. So it's making sure that the challenges for us as a coaching staff is to make sure that our guys are ready and that they're prepared and that we've done our job as a staff to make sure they are prepared, whether it's doing a pre-scout of the opposition that we're playing that night, or if we're doing a team review of the game that we had the night before, making sure that our game plan was the right one, depending on who we played. And so there's all kinds of different challenges that we face as a coaching staff, and those being some of them. And I think the other challenge that people don't really talk about is the challenge of your lifestyle. I mean, I have a family, and I had a young family when I started coaching. They're a little bit older now, my kids, but you're away a lot during the season. It's a lot of time during the day. Even if you're home, the days are long, and then obviously you throw in the travel in there. There's a significant amount of travel during the season, so you're trying to balance your work life and obviously your home life, and that's a challenge that you have to do. I think I've always been able to set aside when I come home from work that the work stays there, and that when I'm home it's about the family. So to me, that's one of the bigger challenges that you face as a coach in the professional industry.
That does sound very challenging. How important are connections for getting jobs in the sports industry?
Well, connections are important, I think, but I don't think they're the most important thing. I think what's important in the sports industry is, you might have to start out at a lower level job and work your way up, and kind of what I did, I guess, from playing professionally 13 years, and then I started out as an assistant coach in the minor leagues, in the American Hockey League, and you want a chance to work your way up, so you have to prove yourself. You have to do a good job, and you have to work at it. And then I think as you move along, and while you're working and you're trying to work your way up the ladder, if you're doing a good job, you will get recognized for your work, just like in any other industry. So, I mean, it's nice to know people in certain places, and hopefully they can maybe get your foot through the door for you a little bit, I guess. But once it's in there, now it's up to you, and that just comes through making sure that you earn the right to move up and to get that opportunity that you're looking for.
So nowadays, technology is vital to many careers. How important is technology for you and your job?
Well, technology is very important for our job. We work off, what we do as coaches is we work off our computers, essentially. So we have a system that we work off. It's called XOs. It's a software system, and what we're doing is we're getting our team prepared through video. Video has become an integral part of it. It's an important teaching tool that we use now as a coaching staff. I can think back to when I played, especially at the start of my career. As a player, we hardly watched any video. In fact, I don't think we watched any video at all. Now our guys are consistently watching video on a daily basis. And that video comes from all the work that we do as a coaching staff. So we're trying to pre-scout our opposition. We're trying to, like I said before, we're trying to review the games that we've played in, and all that's broken down off the software that we use on our laptops. So we spend a good amount of time, obviously, on the computer, getting our team ready, getting them ready for their video sessions. And then the other part of the technology, I guess, would be, what's come into play now the last few years has been analytics. And I'm not on the analytics side, but obviously we have a staff in place with the Bruins, an analytics staff, and they have a lot of information for us, and it's a good information too. It can be overwhelming at times, so as coaches we have to make sure we balance it. We don't get, it doesn't paralyze us as a staff, but there is some good information there for us to use that gets handed down to us through our analytics department that we can use as a coaching staff, as a resource, as a tool to help us be better coaches.
So, pretty similar to technology, we've also seen social media really take off in the past few years. So what are some of those trends that you've seen through the NHL via social media, and how has that been impacting you and your job?
Well, I don't think think social media impacts my job? I don't know a lot about social media, so this is a tough question for me to answer. I'm not really wrapped up in it, but I do know that our players are. Obviously, I see them on Twitter. I see the messages and the things come up on Twitter, and they're obviously able to connect with other people real quickly. So, but social media, I don't think it doesn't have a huge impact on what I do on a daily basis.
Do you think that this is something that impacts the players, like maybe player to player?
Oh, definitely more so than us as a coaching staff. I think the players are, they're younger, number one, so they're more in tune and up to date with social media. I think they can use it as a platform to do good things, and I think some of our players have. And I hope that's how they would use it. But like I said before, I don't know a lot about it, so it's a tough question for me to answer.
And for our final question before we wrap up, what is some advice you would give to students that are interested in pursuing a career inside the sports industry?
Well, I guess my advice would be what I said earlier is to obviously, you want to get yourself in a situation where you get an opportunity with whichever organization it is that you're hoping to work for. And you might have to, my advice is, you might have to start out at a lower level position maybe that you originally thought you would, but it's okay because through my experience, and I've seen this in our industry and in our business, I've seen people firsthand that started at a lower level position that have worked their way up to maybe a position that they were hoping for or anticipating at some point in their life, and they were able to do it. And like I said before, so I wouldn't discard the fact of just being able to get yourself in a situation where you have an opportunity to work for a team. It may not be the position that you're looking for right away, but eventually, like I said, if you do a good job and you work hard, people will notice and you will get that opportunity. You will get rewarded for it. So don't be, I guess, too big to say, I'm not going to take the position because it's not what I'm looking for at this time. I do believe that's important that you get yourself in there, and then after that, it's up to you individually how it's going to work out. And I had to do it. I mean, I went through it. I retired as a player. I had to become an assistant coach in the minor leagues. It wasn't something that I thought, it wasn't a glamorous job, but it was an opportunity I knew that could lead to better things and bigger things. If I did a decent job, I did a good job, and fortunately for me, it worked out.
All right, well, thank you again so much for being here with us, Joe. We definitely learned a lot and appreciate your time, and we wish you luck for the seasons to come.
Well, thank you very much for having me.